York and his team has come here. They have also sensitized what are the challenges in urban development, particularly vis-a-vis smart cities. All these are being addressed too. The government of India has set apart around 50,000 crores to start with for the smart cities. That money will not suffice, I am aware of it. The states also are going to provide a matching equal amount. But at the end of it, you need a huge amount of money that has to come from the market, national market, international market. The advantage we have today is there is now confidence because we have an able leader and also a stable government. Some of the reasons for the bitter experience earlier about some of the people becoming non-performing assets, banks not willing to lend them further was because decisions were struck at various stages. I don't want to appear to be political because their indecision, inaction, a timely inaction, that has resulted in cost overrun and also some of these projects getting struck. Otherwise, if you see the same projects during Atal Bihari Vajpayee's period, in fact, he was the initiator of this infrastructure projects in the country, whether it is airways or national highways or the rural roads or the ports or telecom revolution. He brought in that connectivity revolution. Now this government is keen to take it further, and whatever hurdles are there in that, the government is willing to address them also. As far as the housing is concerned, we have allowed FDI. We have also relaxed the norms of FDI. Then we have also given certain income tax concessions for individuals also. Now my ministry has come up with a new policy. For the affordable housing, the government will be providing 6.5% interest subvention. As of now, the interest is somewhere around 10%, 10.25% for the housing sector. If the government of India is going to, I hope that it will come down further. I've been persuading my colleague, but once the economy improves, which is improving also, then only will have that cushion of reducing the interest rates. So the 6.5% interest subvention and allowing private sector to participate in a big way and providing safety wall for the consumers through way of real estate development bill. These are some of the measures which are attracting a lot of companies, a lot of foreign companies are evincing interest. I have met at least 25 to 30 foreign country delegations and also ambassadors who are keen in participating in this smart city project, whether it is metro, whether it is in BRT transport or in water supply or solid waste management. People are showing interest. I'm sure it will catch up further in the coming days.
Thank you very much. There are obviously big opportunities. As you say, the government and state governments and everybody's been trying to clear away the kind of bureaucratic obstacles to getting things done, to getting infrastructure done. I'm still a bit unclear as to how you're going to actually attract the private sector money. You mentioned subsidies for interest rate subsidies, for example. But how are you going to actually get the private sector, whether it's foreigners or whether it's Indian companies, to come in and invest? And how does this SPV system actually work? Does that mean that the government puts in money and then the private sector puts in money? And then how are you actually going to draw them in?
First time I'm going to allow these urban local bodies to use money given by me as a seed capital, so that they can get finance from the banks and also it will be attraction. Because without money, urban local body coming into the plan will not suffice. We are also sensitizing urban bodies to make them aware there is a need to bring reforms with regard to clearances, with regard to transparency, with regard to accountability. More than anything else, we are sensitizing our urban local bodies to become credit worthy so that people will have guarantee that the money will be paid back. Earlier the system was everything will be done by the government. Now people are realizing that they have to pay for the extra services they are getting. This model is successful, I can assure all the investors. There is a clamor for free or subsidize everything. But you also have examples like Gujarat. There is no free power, but there was assured power, 24/7. People are paying happily and there is assured power now. And now the Madhya Pradesh is following the same. Chhattisgarh is following the same. Rajasthan is picking up. One good thing that is happening, irrespective of political color, different states, They are all now trying to work and then keep up this momentum. That's a positive thing in India, which was a little missing or disturbed in earlier this thing and all. Now there is a new awakening. People want this development in their respective areas also. That's why there will be coming forward to pay service charges, user charges, one. Secondly, the models, like the models that are there in certain parts of the world or certain parts of India, they are also making the people to believe, yes, this can be implemented in our places also. Thirdly, India is a huge market, there are great opportunities, and there is a leadership at the center which is very keen, which is very keen to focus more on ease of doing business. Business for what? For them profit. For me also, the economy will improve, it will revive, and the country spends purchasing power also will increase. Unless you increase the purchasing power of individual, whatever infrastructure you may create, it will not be, they will not be able to get the required returns. So both things are happening. And if you go through what is the World Bank saying or other agencies are saying, India is going to grow between 7.5 to 8% in the backdrop of a world economy looking down and China also being little negative. So